What's up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Catfish on Ice. We're in turbulent times right now, Rich. 4-game losing streak. We're trying to get back that winning mojo right now, Rich. We're in rough times here.
It's been exciting. First 10 minutes, we got a goal, a coach's challenge, a fight. What else could you want?
And how perfect timing is it, Rich? Because awesome. Not only do we get a fight really early in the game, and we have a segment tonight planned to talk about the best fighters on this current Preds team.
Yep.
And what do you know? Tanner Jeannot, I did mean to rhyme there, but what do you know? What do you know, Tanner Jeannot?
Now Jeannot.
He answers the bell, and he gets in a really big brawl early in the game. I got to say, notch another win for Tanner Jeannot in the fight card.
It looked like it to me. That dude was huge. They said he's like, what did they say, like 6'7" or something crazy?
I mean, he took like one good punch from the guy.
Yeah.
But he didn't go down. It's like he's almost like Rocky Balboa out there, like just refuses to go down.
He's a big dude, man. I don't know.
I got a good idea, Rich. I got a good idea. We got to get our buddy Kyle Perkins, who's the meme king. We've got to get him to make a Rocky Balboa Tanner Jeannot meme.
Absolutely. There you go. He'll do it.
I'm going to get K-Perk on that. I'm going to get him on that.
He's really quick about making them.
All right. Yeah. So it's episode 98 of Catfish on Ice with Chad Minton and Rich Howe. And if you notice, Rich, I busted out the Pecorine jersey tonight.
It's good.
I had to. I haven't worn this jersey in like 20 something episodes, but you know what? Desperate times call for desperate measures.
Yeah, I agree.
We need good Pecorine mojo tonight. And so I put the Pecorine jersey on.
I agree. What's up, Lindsay?
Hello, friends, is what Lindsay says. We're happy to have you, Lindsay.
She's on her iPad.
All right. We're happy to have you in here. We need all the good mojo tonight. Lindsay's in here. That's good mojo. Tanner Jeannot's already had a fight. That's good mojo. We got everything working for us. The only thing that makes me nervous is the last time we did a live watch episode was on Monday, and we were up 2-0, and we were all kind of feeling good about ourselves.
Oh, man.
And then the bottom fell out. So
I even said I had goosebumps.
Yeah, so let's pump the brakes a little bit, but we're feeling good. Eli Tolvanen breaks through, gets a goal. He has not scored a goal in a very long time, and he's had some really, really bad luck go his way.
Very bad.
Anytime you see a pure goal scorer like Eli Tolvanen and you see his shooting percentage is at 5%, you know that there's some bad luck going his way that factors into that. So it's good to see him get a goal and break through tonight. The Preds are up 1-0 right now on the Winnipeg Jets.
Yep. Love it.
Here's what we got in store for you for episode 98. We are going to live react to this game like we always do. Whenever we have a live game during our episode, we are going to give you live game reaction. That's what we do. We watch the game with our listeners, and it's a lot of fun. We can cheer and celebrate with each other, but we can also wallow in misery when our Preds lose.
Absolutely.
Together. It's misery deserves company. Misery. Is that what they say? Or misery enjoys company? Something like that.
Misery
loves company. We're not going to have to deal with misery tonight. I feel good about this. But either way,
Lindsay's got a prediction. Preds win and Oilers lose.
Oh. All right. Well, Lindsay is also a Flames fan, and so her displeasure for the Oilers is very well noted.
Very well. Yep.
Here's what we got. Here's what is on the rundown tonight for episode 98 of Catfish on Ice, presented by DraftKings. And of course, we are part of the Hockey Podcast Network, where there are so many great podcasts to check out. Not just ours, but there are tons of great podcasts on the Hockey Podcast Network. We've got live game reaction of the Preds versus the Jets all night. We've got our midseason player grades that are going to start tonight. Yes, everyone, we are already at the midway point of the season. Yes, we are. and the Preds are still right there on the doorstep of first place. So no one needs to start pushing that panic button just yet. We are going to be okay. We're going to be okay. But we are going to start dishing out our midseason player grades with the top 6. And I kind of put that in quotation marks because I feel like the Preds haven't had a set top 6 this year because of the COVID protocols, because of injuries. But we are going to list off pretty much the players that we feel like are the top 6 forwards on this team. That's how we're going to start off our midseason player grades. Stay tuned for that. And as I alluded to earlier, Tanner Jeannot's already been in a fight tonight. We are going to list off our top fighters on this team, and there's plenty to choose from. There are plenty of guys on this team who love to scrap.
We have a goal.
We have a goal. Are you ahead of me now?
I don't know.
Rich, what happened? How did you change your stream up and now you're ahead of me?
I have no idea.
Where is Mike Twitter? We need the bang. We have no bangs tonight. All right. I'm caught up now. All right. What a sneaky good shot from Mikhail Greenland there.
There you go. I know, right? So I thought you were watching it.
Hey, the stars are aligning tonight, Rich, because not only are we getting a fight, which really perfectly sets up our segment of best fighters, but 2 of the players we are going to be giving midseason grades to tonight have scored a goal. How about that?
There you go.
Mikhail Greenland has also not been able to score goals this year. He's piling up the assists. We know that.
He is.
But he has not really been scoring a lot of goals. So now you've got Tolvanen and Greenland both with their 6 goals of the season. Both have scored goal number 6 tonight.
Absolutely.
I just don't call me out. Don't call me out on this, Rich, but I'm still having a hard time getting too excited because they were up 2-0 on the Blues in very similar fashion.
They were, but I'm not going to say anything this time.
All right.
I was really excited last time, but I'm not going to chill out a little bit.
Yeah, let's just not jinx it. How about that?
That's right. There you go.
All right. So, best fighters on the team. We're gonna talk about that. We've got it's Thursday, so it's our battle for the Central Power Rankings. We already put it out on our social media, but we are going to give you our analysis and reaction. It was this week. We switched it up a little bit. It's a consensus. So I took Rich's rankings and I took mine, and I kind of came up with a consensus top 8 Central Division Power Rankings, and we will list those off for everybody. So that will take us through this game of Preds versus Jets.
Absolutely.
We're under 7 minutes left in the first period. Preds are up 2-0. They're winning the shot total 7-6. And they're going up against another quality goaltender tonight in Connor Hellebuck. You might not know that seeing it right now, but he is still a quality goaltender. It's nice to get some goals past him.
The first goal, there wasn't anything he could probably do about that. That was just a weird,
let's talk about
the post and then batted it in. But
let's talk about this. I was really worried about that challenge that Winnipeg put on that goal.
Yeah,
because I'm like, how much worse can Tolvanen's luck get this season if this goal gets overturned?
Absolutely.
I was really worried about it. I was listening to Chris Mason's analysis on it before we went on live.
Yep.
And he was saying, this is very close. This is going to be a close call.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times you go with the call on the ice in those types of situations, and the call on the ice was a goal. So you can't really overturn that.
Yeah, they didn't have a good angle to overrule it. So I think it was awesome. It was good. He batted it out of the air, and then
before we really get into the meat of this episode, we really start talking about our topics we got lined up for you tonight. Rich, did you see this viral video of this poor reporter who was reporting on the side of the road and got ran over by a car?
I did see that today.
Oh my gosh.
Crazy. Fortunately, the lady stopped her car.
Oh my gosh.
That was insane.
I mean, pretty much everyone's seen this video. It's gone viral, but a sideline, or not sideline, but a report. And these reporters, they really do the dirty work and the hard grunt work in our industry.
Oh yeah.
And when it comes to reporting the really tough stories, being there on the scene, not taking anything away from anchors who like to sit in their comfy little studios with the perfect temperature and everything. But these reporters who get out there, they really do. A lot of times they're in very dangerous situations. And go see this viral video. She's reporting on an icy road about a water main break. And she's just, reporting away. And out of nowhere, this car, I guess they just couldn't see her, or maybe they were sliding.
It was, bad traffic. Yeah, the whole 9 yards.
But she gets completely knocked out. Here's what rubbed me the wrong way is the anchor. He almost looks like a robot. He doesn't even look real. He's like, he shows no emotion. He's just like, oh, well, the first thing he says is, oh, well, that's a first for your career, isn't it? I'm like, is that really what you say? And I guess he he came back and was talking about it and was like, hey, I couldn't see what was going on here. I had no clue. I was still trying to process it, which in news studios, I can see how that's possible. But still, when the reporter you're talking to says, I just got hit by a car,
right?
I just don't feel like the first thing out of your mouth should be, well, that's a first for your career.
Did you hear what the reporter said? She said that she's been hit like that before.
Yeah,
she said she had got hit like that in college. It's not.
So so we're gonna go ahead and dedicate this episode and show all of our appreciation to all the hardworking reporters out there who are on the beat, who have to get out there in really ugly situations, nasty situations, dangerous situations sometimes.
Very dangerous.
We are going to dedicate this episode to them. We appreciate you. You all are awesome. Everyone out there who really puts their safety on the line to report the news out there. That viral video, I kind of wish they would have put like a warning sticker on that video, because I didn't know what to expect. It was viral, just happens to be on my timeline, and I'm like, in the first 10 seconds, she gets hit by a car. You're like, what is going on here?
It was a little shocking. At first, you said, have you seen this viral video with this reporter? And I thought you were going to talk about the Leon Draisaitl thing.
Oh, well, we can talk about. Hey, Rich, we can talk about that too. That's actually really funny you bring that up, because
never heard.
That is also a very viral video.
Oh my gosh, man! I couldn't even believe that.
Yeah, how do you? What do you think about that? What's your thoughts on that whole exchange?
Well, it's hard to say, because I am sure that there is nobody on that team who is happy right now with the record, with how they're playing. And then you ask them a question about what's wrong. I mean, they're playing horrible. What do you think's wrong? I mean, it just rubbed them the wrong way. And that, I think the reporter went a little overboard. I mean, I understand he didn't give you the answer that you wanted or anything, but think about it. I mean, like, they're horrible right now, and he's not happy. And he's him and McDavid are the two best players in the NHL, and have a horrible record right now and haven't won. And I think they've lost 7 in a row or something. Mm-hmm. So
yeah,
a little crazy.
I really didn't appreciate the way the reporter carried himself. It was very unprofessional. It's one thing to want to get a good answer out of a player.
Yeah.
Because, you are kind of taught that when you're going into the industry, you want to ask open-ended questions. You want to ask questions that are going to bring illicit responses. But I feel like the reporter, and he's apparently a Hall of Fame reporter and all that. Yeah. And I'm not trying to really put the reporter on blast, because maybe he was having a bad day at the office. Everyone has a bad day at the office. Everyone has a bad day at work. Right. Maybe he was having a bad day at work. But
that's true.
When he said, why are you so pissy?
Yeah.
That's just uncalled for. You don't got to say something like that. And good luck getting any good answers out of any of those players the rest of the season.
Yeah. They just,
if I was Draisaitl, if I was Connor McDavid, if I was anyone on that team, I would give him the most bare bones answer the rest of the season.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have another Preds goal.
I didn't want to say anything, but
no, I heard you. I think we're back on the same. I think we're at the same.
That's weird. I don't understand.
Page now. All right. So this is a So, hey, that goal right there is a product of two players who have played a lot of hockey together. Yeah. Roman Josi and Ryan Johansen. So guess what? Guess what? Ryan Johansen is also in our midseason player grades tonight. So all three goals tonight that were scored are by three different players who are in our midseason grades tonight.
Yeah.
So this is working out perfect.
I might have said something about Johansen that doesn't count now, so I don't know.
Well, no, it's one goal, man. He's still got to. So Roman Josi already has 2 points on the night, man. So let me tell you, the Preds are not. They're literally not taking anything for granted tonight. They are on a mission tonight. You can tell that they are laser focused. That they're angry. They're playing angry. They are playing aggressive. They know that they can't let this losing streak get past 4 games. If they want to stick around at the top of the Central Division, you've got the Colorado Avalanche that are starting to pull away.
They sure are. Yeah,
they've already got 50. They're already 4 points ahead of the Preds and still have games in hand. So I think you're seeing a little bit of, I don't want to say desperation, because desperation makes it seem like all hope is lost. But they're definitely playing with a sense of urgency.
It's not time to be in desperation mode yet.
But they're playing with urgency. You can agree with that, right, Rich?
Oh, absolutely. And the good news is Nashville's sitting in 3rd. Minnesota is in 4th, but they're 4 points behind the Predators. But they also have some games in hand. So,
well, I'm telling you, the Preds tonight, they look all business. They look all business. They don't even seem to. They literally look ticked off tonight.
Good.
I'm glad, because if you look at this 4-game losing streak, it started against Buffalo, and that was probably one of their worst games of the year.
As I said,
we'll put the Buffalo loss right up there with the loss to the Canadians.
Yeah,
those two are their worst losses of the year.
Well, especially coming off of the Avs win, that's what made it even worse. So,
then you go to Saturday, which I think we can all agree the Preds played a pretty good game after they fell behind early. They just gave up the early deficit, and when you're playing a really good Bruins team, that's going to be really hard to come back.
Yep.
They get an overtime point at least,
which that's good.
Overall, they played a pretty good game. They responded well.
Yep.
And then that's really where their luck has just not bounced their way. They play a really good Blues team who might be in the mix to win the division if they can hang with Colorado. They're right up there with the Preds, of course.
Yep.
You go up 2-0 in that game. We talked about it live in episode 97, and the bottom fell out. The bottom fell out. Let's just
absolutely
be honest.
Fell out. Yeah, it was ugly.
And then the Vancouver game, we haven't really talked about the Vancouver game at all. Let's go ahead and briefly talk about that game. It was another game where I just feel like the Preds they just couldn't get anything to bounce their way, and it was just,
absolutely.
And they're going up against another really outstanding goaltender in Thatcher Demko, who
big dude
he stole some goals from the Preds that night.
He did,
and David Riddick did what he could.
Yep.
I don't think David Riddick had a bad game at all. It was just one of those games where once again you face a really hot Vancouver Canucks team that's just they've turned into a whole different team ever since Bruce Boudreau took over.
That's what I was going to say. If hopefully they wouldn't ever overlook those guys, because they've definitely turned their season around. That's for sure. So
So it's just a rough stretch here. It's going to happen, unfortunately. But what have I said, Rich? I've always said they can't let this get to like a 6 or 7 game losing streak. That's when the season will get derailed. That's when it'll get derailed.
I think one more loss would have been about it. And then you definitely have to – that's when you might start worrying a little bit. But still, halfway point of the season, so all hope is not lost, that's for sure.
Just early stats here. I mean, the shot totals are 11-9. It's even pretty much. But the Preds are they're figuring out ways to score, and Winnipeg's not.
Yeah.
Both teams have a power play opportunity. Both teams did not connect on the power play. 9 penalty minutes for each team. Hits are even at 14. I mean, this is a very even game except for the scoreboard.
Yeah, I mean,
so
it's crazy.
Your scores here tonight. Tolvanen's got his 6th goal of the season. Benning gets an assist, so good for him.
Yeah.
Tomasino gets his 8th assist of the season on that goal. Roman Josi gets an assist on Mikhail Greenland's 6th goal of the season. Carrier gets an assist. And then Ryan Johansen with his 12th goal of the season. We're going to talk about this a little bit later, Rich, in our grades. But Ryan Johansen is on he's on a pace to shatter his career high in goals.
Yeah.
He's never been known as a goal scorer. He is not a Philip Forsberg when it comes to scoring goals. He usually tops out around 14 or 15 goals, especially since he's been with the Preds. Yep. He's already at 12 with half a season left.
Yeah. Well, they're talking to him he's being interviewed right now. What do you know? Yeah, it's good to see.
So how about we go ahead and get into our opening face-off, which is our midseason player grades. And we are going to start with the top 6. Here's who I considered the top 6. I know that the top 6 changes and that there's been different line combinations, but here are who I consider my top 6.
Yeah. And this is the top 6 tonight. This is who's playing top 6 tonight.
I've got the line that really is so successful. Philip Forsberg, Matt Duchene, Mikhail Greenland.
Yep.
They're going to be in our midseason player grades tonight.
Yep.
And then I kind of had to think about it a little bit, but I put Luke Cunnin in our top 6. I put Ryan Johansen in our top 6, and I know he has not gotten a lot of top 6 minutes, but I still put him in there. Eeli Tolvanen, I threw in there. I could have put Nick Cousins in there. I thought about putting Nick Cousins in there because he's gotten a lot of top 6 minutes this year as well. But I still don't consider Nick Cousins a top 6 player.
It seems like the Cunnin, Johansen, Tolvanen, that's the one that sticks out the most to me, and that Tolvanen's been in there. It seems like, I mean, I don't know exactly how many games he's played on that line, but it seems like he's been in there.
Well, I'll tell you, Tolvanen's been buried a little bit in the lineup this year. He really has been. He has, and it's not all because John Hines doesn't want him in the top 6. There's a lot of outside factors, most notably your COVID-19 protocols.
Yep.
So, I mean, I think eventually he needs to be in the top 6 full time.
Yes.
In my opinion. So that's why I put him in there.
Lindsay says, "Oh no, player grades, my favorite, nervous."
Well, Lindsay, you don't have to be nervous tonight because David Riddick is not getting graded tonight.
Just the top 6.
And whatever grade we give him, Lindsay, you can feel free to come after us and give us your grade for him.
Yep.
But he's not going to be in there tonight.
No.
So we can wait a little bit longer. All right, Rich, which player you want to start with out of our top 6? For
Let's do that. Let's start from the Cunnin, Johansen, Tolvanen line.
All right, pick a player and give us your grade.
Let's do we'll start with Luke Cunnin. How's that?
All right. I like that.
All right. I gave him a C. I don't know if that's fair.
A C? You're a really tough grader. I'm glad you weren't my teacher.
Yeah, right.
I would have never graduated high school.
It's not that he's playing bad. He's playing good. It's just he's not playing up to his potential, and he's not playing as well as he did last season, I feel. how I feel.
So you're that teacher that I had teachers like you in high school that would give me that exact lecture. Chad, you're not up to your potential. You are so smart. You have such a great brain, and you just don't utilize it. And I need you to focus more. So is that so? As Luke Cunning's teacher, that's what you're saying. So you're going to give him a C.
Yeah. So last season he played in 38 games, and he got 19 points, which he had some really strong points for some games. He played really well. You know, we were happy with what he was doing. 41 games so far this season. He's only got 16 points. He does have 8 goals and 8 assists, which that's good. I just think he's not playing as well as he could. I mean, I know that's C. When I say it out loud, it seems like it might be a little tough. But
well, let me rebuttal a little bit here, because me and you are both not in agreement on our Luke Cunning grade.
All right.
First of all, Luke Cunning will always have a special place in the heart of this podcast, because we were in the early days of this podcast, the first few episodes.
Yep.
And we pronounced this poor man's name wrong and called him Coonan. Those were the early days when myself and Rich, we didn't do our homework like we should have. And how long did we actually call him? And then even when we knew we were pronouncing it wrong, we still would say it wrong.
It got to the point where we had like a made up swear jar.
Yeah, it was bad.
If you said his name wrong, you got called out automatically if you said his name wrong.
All right. So, but either way, I remember the draft day trade for Luke Cunning, sending Nick Bonino away. And I was low key pretty I liked it. I remember at the time, I'm not trying to say I'm some smart hockey expert, but I remember at the time feeling very good about the trade, trading old for young, trading a player who's past his prime for a player who could still be going into his prime.
Yep.
A lot of Minnesota Wild fans and people in that corner were saying, I remember seeing on the message boards, a lot of Minnesota Wild fans, they didn't want to lose him. They really liked his potential.
That's true.
Now, I will say, I had no idea how much of a scrapper Luke Cunning was going to be.
Nor did I. And it's definitely worked out into our favor. That's for sure.
Yes. Lindsay comes in and says, still not as bad as the Riddick mispronunciation with a bunch of laughing emojis. I think I was guilty of that once, and I called him Rittich or Rittich.
I believe so.
I think I was guilty of that. Guilty as charged, but I corrected that pretty quick. But
that's all good.
It's all good. You got to learn these players.
Sure.
Hey, you got to learn these players' names. Some of these pronunciations are not what they appear.
Nope,
that's for sure. All right, so
I think I still say Afanasiev wrong. It's
that's right.
Afanasiev.
Yeah,
I thought it was something else.
I mean, maybe there's two different accepted pronunciations. I've always said Afanasiev.
I've heard people say Afanasiev, I think.
No, I know it's not right. I've watched too many highlights of him, and unless every PA announcer I've ever heard announce a game for him, unless they're pronouncing him wrong, I'm pretty sure it's Afanasiev.
That's cool.
All right. We could have a whole episode about pronouncing some of these prospects' names, right?
Definitely.
All right, you ready? All right, you ready for my grade, Rich, for Luke Cunning?
I am.
I gave him an A. I gave him an A minus.
Oh wow! All right,
an A minus.
Okay.
Here's why. The dude is a wrecking ball. He is a tone setter, and he perfectly fits the mold of this team.
You're right.
If you put Luke Cunning on a different team that maybe doesn't preach the physicality that the Preds do, then he would probably get buried and probably wouldn't be nearly as beneficial. But for this Preds team, he fits the mold perfectly. Second on the team in hits behind Tanner Jeannot with 120 hits. And he's an Iron Man. He's durable. He's played in all 41 games this season for the Preds. He's one of only 3 players on the team that's played all 41 games. Do you want to guess the other 2?
All 41 games.
There's only 2 other players.
Wow.
This is a random Preds trivia here for Rich.
Is one of them Tanner Janelle?
It is.
There you go.
Good job.
Trying to think. Mikhail Greenland.
Very good guess. He's played a lot of games, but it's not Mikhail Greenland. It's Eeli Tolvanen.
Oh, wow. Wow. I don't remember Mikhail Greenland missing anything.
But
whatever.
I give him an A-, Luke Cunningham, because his points are down a little bit, but really not based on his career average. His career high is 31 points in a season. He's still a very raw, young player. Sometimes we forget that. He's really starting to become a regular in the NHL with the Predators.
Yeah.
So he's got 16 points this season. You're thinking he's right on pace to come close to breaking his career high in points, assuming he plays the rest of the games. If he can get around 80 games played, doesn't miss too many games, he has a really good chance to set a new career high in points. And I love his versatility as a defensive forward. 29 block shots as well as his hits. I think he's low-key a candidate for the Selk Award, which is the best defensive forward. I don't think he'll win it, but if you remember, Rich, a couple episodes ago, we talked about Preds players in the award race.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason to think that Luke Cunningham shouldn't at least get some chatter out there for being one of the better defensive forwards in the league. So I gave him an A-.
After I said it out loud, I feel bad.
Well, no, don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. We'll average it out. Luke Cunningham gets a B. We'll average it out.
Fine.
Luke Cunningham gets a B.
I don't know. I love him as a player. I think he's awesome. I guess we got a little bit of taste of what he could do last season, and it seems like he hasn't quite gotten there yet.
I like your objectivity. I like it. I love it. So we're going to average it out to a B. Luke Cunningham gets a B from the Catfish and Ice podcast. And hey, B's carried me through high school and college, so I don't want to hear anybody come after anyone for getting a B.
There you go.
All right. Let's go with our next player here. Let's go ahead and talk about Eeli Tolvanen with our next midseason player grade. We're at the first intermission right now, aren't we, Rich?
We are. Yeah.
All right. First intermission.
Yes.
Whenever we get underway for the second period, we will update you and talk more about what's going on in the game. But the Preds are up 3-0 right now on the Winnipeg Jets, so we're feeling good about it.
Feeling good.
And let's go ahead and talk about Eeli Tolvanen, who got the scoring started tonight with that goal. I was really worried that they were going to take it away from him because he's already had so much bad luck this year. I'm like, can something bounce this man's way for a change?
Please.
The guy's got a 5% shooting percentage, which is the type of pure shooter he is. Over 90 shots on goal on the season. You're like, this is going to bounce back in his favor eventually. Eventually, it's going to bounce back in his favor. But here's my grade. I still gave him a B-.
Okay.
He's barely above average for me right now. And it's because he is still his skill set and what he is supposed to do. He is out there to be a goal scorer, and it's not working out in his favor. And it's, even though you can't blame it all on bad luck. You can't blame it all on bad luck. Sometimes you do have to say, okay, you got to find better ways to get the shots on goal. A big stat that I dug up that explains a lot for what he's struggling with is his percentage of shots that actually hit the goaltender and force a save.
Yep.
He is under 60%. 57.8% of his shots actually hit the goaltender to force a save. That seems pretty low to me compared to a lot of the other players I looked at on the team.
Right.
So a lot of his shots are either getting blocked or he's just missing the goal all together.
Yep. Yep.
So if he can figure that out, his goal totals will start going up.
Absolutely. Well, we talked about him, might have been last episode, about exactly what you just said. You know, he impacts the game elsewhere, but not where he was kind of brought into. So,
and that's why I give him a B- still, is because he is impacting the game in other ways. He's putting up the hits. I mean, he's right up there.
Yeah.
I think Kyle told us that he was like top 5 on the team in hits. Or he was up there. Maybe he was even third. I can't remember exactly, but I know he was up there.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, third sounds right. I think that's what it was. But we talked about him also. Like, well, I noticed it at times. He like hesitates to shoot. So I don't know. Sometimes he does. Like, it seems like he's got a good opportunity and he won't take it. So,
well, going into and I agree with that actually. Going into tonight, he hadn't scored a goal since December 10th.
Yeah, I know it's been a long time.
And going back to December 10th, that was when he had that 4-game goal streak. Remember that? He scored a goal in 4 straight games. So we were all thinking then, like, wow,
that's awesome.
Watch out, everybody. Tolvanen's figuring it out.
He's on fire.
And then he went on this long drought. So now for the sake of the Predators in general, we really need Tolvanen to get back on that goal scoring streak again.
Yes. Yeah. So I gave him a C, just like Luke.
You are a tough grader.
Man, you got to admit he looks different than he did last season when he was playing really well, and then he got hurt, and he never looked the same again. He never picked back up.
Good point.
This season, we know what he's brought in for to do, score goals, and he just hasn't done as well doing that. And like you said, he just had a big drought December 10th, and his points are really hard for him to come by. But he does, like you said earlier, he does have impact in other parts of the game, which is awesome, but we need him to score goals. Yeah. So there you go. That's his main objective is to score a goal. So
you need Tolvanen's shooting percentage to balance out. Last season he was at 17% shooting percentage. That's your percentage of shots that end up as a goal.
Yep.
And that's shot on goals. That's not shots that miss the net. That's how you get a shooting percentage. A very normal average shooting percentage is around 10%, 10 to 15%. So last year he was at 17%. This year he's at 5%. So that's the big outlier, and that's really the big thing that sticks out for Tolvanen when you look at his stats. But he is playing very good defensive hockey. And early on in his career, when he was an early prospect, and he was trying to play his first few games, that was the knock on Tolvanen, was he needs to round out his game and not be a defensive liability out there. Yeah. Well, he's definitely done that. So that's why I give him a B-.
Yeah. Yeah. He's played 41 games so far, like you said. He played 40 last season, 22 points. He's only got 14 through the same amount of games.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right.
We're a little bit.
All right. So our early player grades, we just put out Luke Kunin. Rich gives a C to both Luke Kunin and Eeli Tolvanen.
Yeah.
I gave an A- to Luke Kunin, and I gave a B- to Eeli Tolvanen. So we are back underway for the second period of Preds versus the Jets. A very, very critical division matchup here we got going on.
I think the Jets just got called for too many men on the ice. Yep.
Well, you love to see that.
Back on the power play.
We got plenty of that in the Avs game, and it created a lot of controversy. Avs fans are still salty about that.
Yep.
But I mean, this game is huge here because look, the Jets have played 6 fewer games than the Preds. 6. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
And yes, they're 11 points behind the Preds, but when you factor in the six extra games, you're talking about a Jets team. It's going to be another team that you're going to have to worry about. And so you got to win these head-to-head matchups here.
Yeah.
Got to.
Got to win the division games.
You got to build yourself. You got to build yourself a cushion in this division race over these teams that still have a lot of extra games to play.
Yep.
So this is huge here. So this is nice little opening here. Preds are on the power play. Let's see what's going on here.
I think Nick Cousins did something.
Well, he normally does something. He's an agitator. He's shaking his head.
High stick. Oh, yep. Sure did. Right in the face.
You hate those penalties that wipe out a power play.
Okay. That guy did not get hit in the face. He got hit in the neck area, and he grabbed his face. It's still a high stick. That's
totally flopping, though.
Yeah, it's still a high stick. I'll give him that, but it was
unfortunately, you don't just see flopping in the NBA. You actually see flopping in hockey too.
Yeah,
and I honestly feel like that should have been embellishment.
Yes,
by the Jets. I'm going to say it right now. That should have been embellishment.
I think so too. A little bit, yeah.
They call embellishment all the time. Why was that not embellishment?
I don't know.
All right, so that
it didn't actually hit him in the face.
That
so I will say that
it was like a graze.
Yeah, it hit him in the in the neck area, like up here. Whatever.
All right, so that wipes out the Preds power play. We're at 4-on-4, and the Jets will get about a 40-second power play here eventually. Yep. So, got to hold on to this 3-0 lead here.
Absolutely.
All right, next player on our grades list. Let's go with Ryan Johansen.
How
about you give your grade for Ryan Johansen?
I gave him a B+.
Okay.
I think this is the best he's looked in several seasons. There are some times when he does still you don't hear much from him, but he's playing really well. And it was very important. He was one of the players that needed to step up and have a really awesome season. And so far he's done really well. It's really good to see. And I'm glad that it's happening for him finally after so many seasons of just not being able to do anything. So, and taking the heat from fans. So
yeah,
good stuff.
Well, him and Matt Duchene both have taken a lot of heat over the years for their contracts mainly. Yeah. But
if you look at his numbers, just the points, he only got 22 last season. He's already up to 31.
Yeah. Well, Ryan Johansen needs to be, if he's going to be considered a top 6 center, he's gotta be a bigger factor in point production and mostly assist, setting up his players, being a bigger impact on the power play. These are all things we weren't seeing from him, and it was really starting to frustrate everybody.
Yeah.
But so you gave him a B+.
B+.
All right. We are pretty much on the same page, but I went with a really flat B. I just gave him a flat B.
That's good.
So, I mean, we're splitting hairs at that point. We both think Ryan Johansen's above average this year. So what I put down here for Ryan Johansen, the gold production is way up for him. And I wrote that down before tonight's goal. So he put up his 12th goal of the season tonight.
You're right.
But his goal production is way up. That's the biggest thing that I noticed from Ryan Johansen this season compared to other seasons is he's actually, much like Matt Duchene in a lot of ways, he is not shy about shooting the puck this year.
And that's good. That's what he needed to do.
He's been very opportunistic when it comes to finding ways to get shots on goal.
Absolutely.
So his season high in goals since he's been with the Predators was 15 goals in 2017-18. He's already at 12 with half a season to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
You got to think he's going to set a new season high in goals.
And last season, even with the awesome turnaround they had halfway through, he played in 48 games. He only had 7 goals the whole season. So yeah, he's already already beat that in 10 less games. So,
and he's never been known as a goal scorer. So it's almost like it feels like bonus if he's getting in on the goals. I mean, you go back and look at even his Columbus days. Columbus days, he put up 33 goals in 2013-14. He put up 26 goals in the following season. And then the next season was when he was traded to the Preds in the Seth Jones trade. Correct?
Yep.
And during that season, he was 23 years old. Many people were thinking he's a top-line center. And in 80 games, he only put up 14 goals. So ever since he came to the Preds, he just hasn't been that big goal scorer that he was for 2 seasons when he was with the Blue Jackets.
Yeah.
Kind of weird.
So many years ago.
It's just strange how as soon as he came to the Preds, he was suddenly not a 20-plus goal scorer anymore.
Yeah. Well, we have a few players that did that. So,
yep.
But now it seems like they're turning that around. So we'll take the turnaround for sure.
Another thing I wrote down about Johansen, he's actually on pace for his highest point total of his Preds career. He's right on that pace of his highest ever in a Preds uniform was 64 points.
Oh yeah, he is.
So he's flirting with that pace. He's right on schedule to be around that high.
Yep.
Now, here's a reason why I didn't bump Ryan Johansen up to an A or even a B+, which is what you gave him. He's kind of cooled off a lot lately. He's only got 4, not counting tonight's game. Coming into tonight's game, he only had 4 points in his last 12 games, dating back to December 10th against the New Jersey Devils. So that feels like an eternity ago, by the way.
I know, right?
But 4 points in 12 games is not a good trend for a top 6 center.
No.
So that's why I bumped his grade down to a B. Is he's kind of trending backwards again.
Yeah, he is a little bit. Like if you look at, I'm looking on Hockey Reference, his last 5 games, he had an assist against Buffalo and he had a goal against St. Louis. But the other 3 games, nothing. So, yeah.
So we just need him he needs to be an every game type of contributor. He is in that role. He is a veteran. He is a very skilled player. We all know he is. And of course, he's a very highly paid player. So Ryan Johansen needs to be in the mix every game. He can't go on these 12-game stretches where he's not contributing. So that's why I bumped him down to a B.
Yep.
It's because of that. Still a decent grade, but not a lights out grade by any means.
Yep.
Uh-oh, we got a scrum.
Yeah. UC Saros was like pushing somebody's face.
Well, hey, anytime you're getting in on your goaltender there, the other team's not going to be happy about it, especially the Preds.
Saros. Oh, he I don't know what happened there.
So Mark Boroviewski. Let's update you what's going on here. Mark Boroviewski is in the penalty box. Shocker there. And, whoa. Yeah, you don't see that very often.
Yeah, did you see him push him?
Yeah, you don't see Saros.
Good for him. I say good for him.
I say good for him too. Yeah, he was like, back up off me. That's what he was saying.
You never, I mean, you see it every once in a while, but you never saw Pecorino get mad. A couple times. I've seen a few.
I can't. Gosh, it's escaping me. Maybe someone who's watching, if anyone's watching right now, that wants to update me and catch me up on this. But there was a time, I almost want to say it was a playoff game, where Rene actually took his stick and swung at this player. Do you remember what I'm talking about, Rich?
I do, but I don't remember who it was.
I can't remember what team it was, but he legit swung his stick. And I mean, he was not happy.
Was it Chicago?
It might. I don't want to speak on it because I can't remember. I could probably look it up really quick and figure it out pretty quick. So we have, all right, the Preds are really starting to play with fire. Now Matt Benning is in the penalty box. Clearly a high stick.
Oh, they got a 5-on-3.
These high sticks are really starting to cost the Preds here.
Yes.
So we've got a minute of 5-on-3 power play time for the Jets. This is don't like to see this.
No.
I mean, we're not even halfway through the second period yet. A 3-goal lead can evaporate quickly. So
their penalties, man. Their penalties
Preds got to settle down a little bit here.
Yeah, I don't know.
We're getting a good look at Kyle Connor here, which is the Winnipeg Jets all-star representative. He just put up a shot on Saros on this 5-on-3. And Saros makes the save through traffic.
Awesome.
Kyle Connor, watch out for that dude. Kyle Connor is over there in the circle just winding up. Don't like to see it. Don't like it at all.
Oh, they scored.
Are you serious?
They did.
You're 5 seconds ahead of me, Rich.
I don't understand it either. It's really strange. Oh, Boroviewski just went, my bad.
That was a tic-tac-toe goal that you're going to see when it's 5-on-3. When it's 5-on-3, that's what you do.
Yep.
And what's a shame about that is Saros was actually made some really good saves there.
Oh, man, it went off Carrier.
Yeah, but they set that up, though.
Yeah. Oh, well.
It did go off Carrier. It did. Yeah, I mean, that's just bad luck. He's trying to slide to make a block, and that's what happens when it's 5-on-3.
Mm-hmm.
So, Rich, this is a do or die. This is kind of like scary times here because the Jets still have another minute of power play time here.
Yeah, they sure do.
This can quickly go to a 1-goal lead if the Preds don't kill this off. This is I don't like this at all.
Yeah, it's bad.
And what have we been saying all season? These penalties are going to get the Preds in trouble.
Yeah, they almost committed another one.
I mean, it's just I don't understand why they can't be more disciplined.
I don't understand it either. I don't know if they think they got a big lead and
it's so hard and so unfortunate for a great goaltender like UC Saros, who his goals against average and his save percentage is suffering right now.
It is, absolutely it is.
When he's constantly put in these situations,
what do you
expect to happen?
They're back to full strength. They fought it off.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, so we're going to count on Rich to give us all of the big moments tonight because he's about 5 seconds ahead of me.
It's insane. I don't understand it. Normally it's 30 seconds behind.
All right, who's next on our player grades here? We got 2 more left, don't we? We got the 2 big ones left. We got 3. We got 3 left. Yeah, we got 3 left. All right. We've got basically what I would consider the top line for the Predators. I know they're not always on the top line.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's your top producing line. It's your money-making line. Yep. It's the line that you need to really produce for you in big moments.
Yep.
And let's start with Mikhail Greenland. How about that?
There you go. That's who I was going to say.
I gave him a B+.
Oh, all right.
The only reason I didn't give him an A is because his goal production is pretty low. He just scored his 6th goal of the season tonight. I feel like as a very skilled player like he is, his goals should be a little bit higher. That's the only reason I didn't give him an A.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, that makes sense.
But I mean, and also going into tonight, he broke his 4-game pointless streak. He didn't score a single point in the 4-game losing streak. So
that's another, he's one of those guys that needs to be in there.
Yeah.
Getting some points every night at least.
Yeah, so when you go back and look at the 4-game losing streak and you see that Mikhail Greenland didn't get you a single point, that can be a problem.
Yep. His last point was in Colorado, and it was
an
assist.
You cannot take away from the fact that he is piling up the assists, 28 assists, which leads the team.
Yep.
He has played in 39 of the 41 games this year. So you guessed Mikhail Greenland played all 41, Rich?
Yeah.
It was a good guess. 39. He's played 39 of the 41 games.
I just don't remember him being out.
And he's averaging over 20 minutes of ice time. As a forward, that's pretty high.
That is a lot.
Like you see your defensemen put up those kind of minutes, but normally a forward is not over 20 unless they're like Nathan McKinnon or Connor McDavid,
right.
But yeah, the only reason I give him a B plus and not an A is because his goal production is a little lower than what I would like to see from him. I feel like he could do a lot more in terms of his goal production.
Yep. Well, I went ahead and I gave him an A, just a straight up A. The notes you had about leads the team in assists with 28. This is averaging the most ice time of his career, which that's, like you said, that's pretty strong, and it is a lot. And then the other note was, I think this is his best season he's had so far since he's been here.
For sure.
He's playing really well. We go back to, we didn't even know if he was going to be here anymore. And he finally, he signed a little bit longer term contract. And I think he read the writing on the wall, man. You got your contract you wanted. Now you got to produce, and he's doing really well. So
it still blows my mind that he was a 70-point scorer with Minnesota.
That is weird. And I don't understand it.
After scoring his 6th goal tonight, he's at 34 points. If my math is correct, that is right on pace for 70 points if he keeps this pace up in the second half of the season.
It is. But what was weird about that season, he got 26 goals that season. Yeah. And he's only got 6 now so far this year.
So that's the only reason I gave him a B+, but we're right on the same page there.
Yeah. But it's all good. Yeah.
Obviously, he's having a really strong year, and he's been very vital.
Absolutely,
the Preds being near first place for so long, and now they're going through a tough spot, as we've said, but they're still outperforming what we thought was going to happen.
Oh, by far.
All right, let's get to the 2 heavyweights of the team here. Your 2 highest skilled forwards on the team. I can't say they're more skilled than Roman Josi, but when it comes to your forwards, they're your 2 highest skilled players on the team.
Yep.
Let's go to Matt Duchene with our first grade before we get to Philip Forsberg. Matt Duchene, I gave him an A-.
Oh, all right.
I didn't go A+. Not a perfect grade, because there are games where I feel like he's invisible.
That's true.
And I hold him to a higher standard than I do a Luke Cunnin or a Ellie Tolvanen or pretty much any player on the team outside of Philip Forsberg and maybe Mikhail Greenland. But when it comes to the forwards, I know his talent is elite, but sometimes there's games where I feel like he's just not engaged enough. It's not happening. It's not happening nearly as badly as previous seasons. And of course, I gave him an A-. I'm trying to give you the reason why I didn't give him an A+.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to be a really tough grader and objective here, that's why I give him an A-. He's not a perfect grade.
Nope.
But he is still on pace to crush his Preds career high in points. He had 42 points in 66 games. That's his highest point total with the Preds, which isn't that high. That's not very good for his talent. For his talent level, 42 points in 66 games is not going to get it done.
And his pay grade.
No.
Yeah.
He's nearly a point per game player this year. 35 points in 37 games going into tonight. So that's big. Other notes I got: second on the team in points, second on the team in goals. His power play production is really impressed me. He's got 8 goals on the power play this year.
Wow.
So if you want to look at why the Preds are performing so high in the power play and their power play has turned around this year, it's no longer a weakness. It's actually a strength. Look at Matt Duchene with 8 power play goals.
Yeah.
And he's also second on the team in shots on goal with 103 shots going into tonight. Biggest shift I've seen in his game is he's shooting more. Much like Ryan Johansen. He's he's also a really strong player in the faceoff circle. He leads the team in faceoff percentage, wins almost 57% of his faceoffs. So all of his numbers look well above average.
Yep.
He gets an A-.
I gave him just a straight up A, another straight up A. Like you said, he's leading the team in assists. It's definitely his best season so far in Nashville.
Second in assists.
Second.
Is he leading? Is he leading Mikhail Greenland in assists? I thought Greenland was leading in assists.
What am I reading? I'm reading the wrong thing. That's why. Second on a team in points. That's what happens. I was reading Greenland's line. That's what it was.
It's all good.
Best season in Nashville. You know, he's headed for that definitely. And I was just looking at his time on ice. He hasn't played this much. So it's 19. It's hovering around 19 minutes a game. He hasn't played that much since his 2012-2013 season in Colorado.
Wow. Okay, that's very interesting.
Yeah, 20 minutes and 55 seconds was his average time on ice. Then you look at his points last year, 13 points last season.
Oh, yeah. Don't even get me. I don't even want to think about it.
I know they had a shortened season, but even once they started turning around, like he still struggled some. So this season is much better, and it's definitely awesome to see.
You just really hope that in this second half of the season he doesn't do one of his disappearing acts.
If he does that, they're going to have problems. I mean, they just can't. None of them can have bad seasons like that.
Especially Matt Duchene, though. He's like one of those players that you just cannot.
I'm going to say it. Bang.
Bang.
Bang. Mike Twitter's not on here.
It's our guy Luke Cunnin. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Here's Ian Menendez. Thanks for joining us. They scored. Yes.
All right, Ian, can you go ahead and
just type in bang.
Type in all caps bang, please. Yep. We will love you forever. That's our thing on the podcast.
Yep.
You got to fill in. Our guy Mike Twitter's not here tonight, so we need you to do it. All right, let's look at this. Luke Cunnin screening the goaltender, and he gets a textbook deflection goal. Textbook.
I think somebody texted him the grade I gave him.
Yeah. Rich, do you want to go ahead and feel a little ashamed of your C that you gave Luke Cunnin?
I do. Somebody told him, and he was like, "I'll show that hack."
Luke Cunnin's like, you know what? Luke Cunnin's thinking, you know what? You mispronounced my name last year. Now you're giving me a C.
Yep.
I'm going to show you.
Here you go. Our man Ian came through. Bang.
Nice. Thank you, Ian. Appreciate it. Appreciate it a lot. And thank you so much for watching with us. We really appreciate you.
Lindsay.
All right.
Awesome.
There we go. All right. So I'm feeling really good about my A- that I gave Luke.
Yeah, I feel bad about mine.
He is reinforcing my grade that I gave him of an A-. Good job, Luke. Way to make me look smart.
There you go.
I appreciate everyone that makes me look smart.
That worked out really good for you.
All right, so we're both on giving Matt Duchene an A. By the way, if you're watching right now, Ian or Lindsay, if you want to give your grade for these players, let us know what you'd give them for a midseason grade. We'll share it.
We're crazy if you want.
Yeah, you can tell us we're absolutely crazy. Yeah, if you need to, go ahead and do it. Let's talk about Philip Forsberg and his grade. I think we're all going to be in unison and agreement with Philip Forsberg's grade. And Rich, if you give a C to Philip Forsberg, I'm going to go ahead and mute you.
You can kick
you will
me
not
off.
be You will not be able to talk for the rest of the night if you give another C out.
You can just kick me off this podcast if I was to do something like that.
No, I would never do that. I would never kick you off the podcast. Never would happen. All right. I mean, let's just save everyone the suspense, and there's probably not much suspense. Phil Forsberg gets an A+. The only A+ from tonight's grades from me. Phil Forsberg gets A+, perfect grade. He is the show-off of the classroom. He's the one that does all of his homework. He gets perfect grades on his test. He's the perfect student for the first part of the semester.
He's the kid in the class who's got the only one with the mustache.
He studies all the time. He goes to the library after class and studies some more. He's does extra credit. That is Phil Forsberg this season. He gets an A+.
Yep.
He's having arguably his best season of his career. And that's saying a lot because he's had some pretty incredible years. Lindsay says Phil got to get an A+. He's been so solid and will look so good in red. Lindsay.
Jeez.
I thought we were friends.
She wants him to play for the Flames. And I
would much rather see him in a Flames sweater than a
Vegas
sweater, a Stars sweater, a Blackhawks sweater, a Red Wings sweater, a Maple Leaf sweater. I can go on and on. Yeah. There's plenty of other teams I would really lose sleep over and have nightmares over if he ends up in one of those. The Flames, if he's got to leave, I wouldn't be totally against that.
What if he went here? This will get a rise out of her. What if he went and played for Edmonton, Lindsay?
No, I don't want that either.
What if he went and played for Toronto?
No.
I'm trying to see if Lindsay will respond. See what she says about that. They couldn't afford to pay him in Toronto because they pay those other three guys so much money.
It's actually not a bad prediction. Like if you were listing off like top teams that would make sense for Forsberg if he gets traded, or Absolutely. If he ends up, or if he leaves in free agency in the offseason, the Flames make sense. They really do, actually.
It does.
All right, so here's my big outlier stat that really stands out to me for Phil Forsberg this year. This was earlier in the week, so the number might have changed a little bit, but I looked this up like on Monday or Tuesday, a couple days ago. Phil Forsberg was third in the league in goal efficiency, goals per game, third in the league among active skaters who've played at least 20 games.
Wow.
The two players ahead of him, Austin Matthews and Leon Draisaitl.
Everybody knows those names.
Yeah, so that's pretty much, I highlighted that and I'm like, A+. I mean, that is some pretty amazing company to be in. He's got 19 goals, 11 assists. He's never been over a point per game in his entire career. He came close in 2017-18 when he had 64 points in 67 games, but he's never actually been right at a point per game. But he's at a point per game this season.
There you go. That's awesome.
But his shooting percentage is all the way up at 23% this year, which would be a career high. And his Corsi is above a 60, which is elite. When you're above a 60 in Corsi, and for some of our listeners who maybe aren't big on the analytics and the metrics when it comes to that, your Corsi rating basically rates how effective your team is in puck possession. Yeah. When you're on the ice. When you're on the ice, is your team dictating the pace? Is your team holding possession? That's how and anything above a 60 is like elite.
Yep.
So he's second. That's his second highest he's ever been in his Corsi rating on his entire career. So what you're seeing is he's having a career high type of season when you look at all your main stats. So Rich, what grade did you give him?
Before I say that, thanks, Lindsay. We appreciate that.
Lindsay, we love you too, and hopefully
And she
you
said
will be
she's-
on here.
She
Lindsay,
said
you better
she's-
join us for episode 100 a week
Oh, yeah.
from today, got everybody. A week
Yep.
from today was episode 100, and we are calling it our listener appreciation episode.
I can't even believe it, but it's 100. It's insane.
We are going to bring on listeners who want to participate. They can come on the live stream and they can talk about whatever they want to talk about as long as
Yep.
it's hockey related and it's family friendly, I will say.
Yep.
But yes.
We got to keep that.
We're gonna let our listeners build the episode. You want to talk about Matthias Ekholm, you want to talk about the power play, you want to talk about how you love Tanner Jeannot and how he fights all the time. Whatever you want to talk about in regards to this team, when we bring you on, you will get your 10 minutes or so of whatever you want to talk about in the episode. We are going to let our listeners build episode 100 for us.
Yep. And it'll be awesome.
So we're excited about it. So
it's going to be awesome.
Message the podcast, comment on the YouTube stream. If you're interested, DM us on Twitter at Catfish Ice or comment on YouTube. And we would love to have you if you're interested in joining our listener appreciation episode 100 a week from today.
Absolutely. All right, on to my grade. So at first I was going to give him just an A, just a straight up A, because he is so close to being an elite forward in the NHL, and he never has taken that step to just push himself over the edge. He is on his way this season. If he can keep up his pace, definitely he's going to be flirting with that elite category.
He's definitely been elite in the first half of the season.
He has been definitely elite. So,
and he's missed a lot of, unfortunately, he's missed some games due to the COVID protocol that lingered. He also had an injury. So he hasn't played as many games as you would like to see him play.
Yep. So I went ahead and gave him the A+.
He's missed.
Those are reserved for only the best.
So you didn't give him an A+.
I did. Yeah, I did.
Oh, you did? Okay, cool. Yeah, so he's missed 13 games this season, which I'm not going to give him a bad grade because he missed games. It's not his fault. He got COVID and all that. But I will say you got to give him an A+.
Yeah, even missing those games, he still leads the team in goals.
It's insane, man. So. Let's see if he can build a full season, turn this into a full season. Hopefully he does not miss any more time this season.
Yep.
And then, of course, I think it's becoming less and less likely that he gets traded at the deadline. I just don't think it's going to happen. I really don't.
It would, I don't know. I think it would make a lot of people angry if he get traded.
We've already talked about this a lot in past episodes. It's been a main topic in a few episodes. But I really feel like David Poile is going to roll the dice going to the offseason. Probably he's going to continue this season trying to re-sign him. I just feel like the two sides are a little far apart right now. But I think Poile's going to roll the dice and try everything he can in his power to re-sign him in the offseason.
Yeah.
Which is risky. That's risky territory because he will be an unrestricted free agent.
Absolutely. It is.
That's scary.
If it doesn't work out, he could walk for nothing.
He will be one of the top targets of the offseason if he gets there.
Absolutely, he will.
One of the top.
Definitely. And we don't want to see it happen, but he also needs to remember grass isn't always greener on the other side when you go somewhere else, and you're definitely not guaranteed that you're going to win a Stanley Cup.
And I do think he really does love Nashville. I think he genuinely wants to stay here.
Yep.
I'm not a psychologist. I don't know that for sure, but I just get when I read it, and I take him as a very genuine player. You know?
Yep.
Woo. Dude, Saros has really, really had to make some spectacular saves to keep Winnipeg at 1 goal tonight so far.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, One of the things I'm seeing the Jets do, and it's really starting to – I mean, I know we got a 4-1 lead, so we should feel pretty confident. But one of the things the Jets are doing is they're setting up backdoor opportunities.
Yes, they are.
They're working their way around the net, and they're looking for redirects. They're looking for backdoor goals on Saros.
Yep.
To where – and that's kind of how they scored their one goal tonight was on a – kind of a backdoor type of setup goal, even though it did go off Carrier. They were trying to set something up backdoor.
Yeah, and Saros couldn't even see it because of where it was. So, I'll say that's a fluke for him. That's not
the Jets definitely. The Jets aren't backing down. They're still putting all the pressure that you can handle.
They've surpassed them in shot total. So
I mean, it's 4-1, but I gotta tell you, it doesn't feel like a 4-1 game. It really doesn't. But we'll take it.
Yep.
Second period's about to come to a close here, and we're in the last few seconds.
Yep.
Okay, now you're 7 seconds ahead of me, Rich. How do you keep getting more seconds?
Just now.
All right.
End of the period.
This is a perfect timing for talking about DraftKings. We're presented by DraftKings. We're getting ready to go into the divisional round of the NFL playoffs, which means for most of our listeners, a lot of our listeners, your Tennessee Titans are going to be playing some football this weekend.
Definitely
to defend their number one seed. They are at home to play the Cincinnati Bengals, right down the road from Rich, the Cincinnati Bengals.
Right up the road a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah, up the road. Yeah, north.
Up the road a little bit. That's my my brother-in-law, Michael. That's his favorite team, the Cincinnati Bengals. For some reason,
have you talked to him? Is he nervous? Does he talk?
I haven't talked to him about it yet. He's I don't know. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'll have to text him and find out. But
so Saturday is going to be a jam-packed day for Nashville because you've got the Titans game at 3:30 local time. And then they actually pushed back the Preds game 30 minutes because the Preds are playing at home against the Detroit Red Wings on Saturday. So it is going to be a crazy fun time in Nashville. And I got to wonder if there's any really diehard fans out there who are going to the Titans game and the Preds game.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool to do that in one day.
That would be really hard though to I mean, yeah, you can walk from the stadium to the arena pretty quick, so it's possible you could pull it off. Yeah. But that would be a really jam-packed day. But
I'm sitting here.
I'm sure there's some people out there who are going to do it.
I'm thinking of how crazy downtown Nashville is going to be Saturday.
It's going to be crazy. This is actually the time of year where downtown's a little tame. There's not as much going on this time of year because it's cold and all that, and the weather is not that great. But
when everybody leaves Nissan Stadium, where
Saturday is going to be a crazy day downtown for sure.
Yeah,
definitely. But yes. So DraftKings, our sponsor, has a really good deal right now. We've got odds boost for new customers, counting down to Super Bowl 56. New customers can get 56-1 odds on any team in the playoffs, NFL playoffs. All you got to do is bet just $5 to get $280 in free bets if your team wins. We've also got daily fantasy out there. If the sportsbook is not available in your state, daily fantasy is a lot of fun. Everyone can play for huge cash prizes. So go download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code THPN and get 56-1 odds on any NFL team. Bet just $5 and win $280 in free bets if your team wins. That's promo code THPN for 56-1 odds at the DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 years or older in New Jersey, Indiana, or Pennsylvania. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit and $1 wager is required. One per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right.
1-800-GAMBLER.
Yes.
So that'll be a lot. Gambler.
That'll be fun. So, yeah, DraftKings is giving all new customers a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes with their first deposit. I think we could all use an extra $1 million. I know I could.
Oh, man. I would definitely could use that. That would be amazing.
Speaking of that, let's get into our next segment here of Catfish on Ice, episode 98. I think the Preds got a few prize fighters on their team.
They do.
I think a couple of these guys could take a career out in boxing if they didn't want to do hockey anymore.
They could. There's a couple of them for sure.
So when you're covering a team like the Predators, how could you not dedicate a whole segment of your podcast just based on their fighters, their brawlers, their scrappers, players who don't take nothing from anybody. They don't back down. They live up to their identity. Sometimes it really makes us want to bang our head against the table because they go to the penalty box so much. But this is who they are. Been saying that all season. This is who they are. For better or worse, this is who they are.
It's their identity. That word gets used a lot.
We're not really ranking these fighters. We're just talking about them because the Preds have so many.
They do. Yeah.
And let's go ahead and talk about our guy, Tanner Jeannot, who's already been in a fight tonight. And I went to hockeyfights.com to really look up all these fights. Mm-hmm. I highly recommend all of our hockey fans go to hockeyfights.com if you've never been there. They document and archive every fight. And they actually let their users vote on who won the fight.
It's awesome.
And so there's actually each fight has a comment section where everyone literally gives their opinion on how the fight went, who won. It's almost like being in a UFC comment board, message board. It's really how it is. So hockeyfights.com is what I used. I think there's only one fight that I've watched this year where I can say Tanner Jeannot lost the fight. Yeah, that was in the Vancouver game against Kyle Burrows.
Yep.
That I feel like he if you're going to give someone a loss, he lost that fight. He didn't dominate that fight like he dominates all the other ones.
No, he doesn't. He didn't that time, that's for sure. But he still didn't get laid out or anything. But
according to hockeyfights.com, the Preds have had 26 official fights.
Wow.
So they don't count everything as a fight. Like it has to be like an official, formal dropping the gloves. The refs are standing off to the side and they literally fight. And I know it feels like the Preds have had more fights than that, but they say they've had 26 fights this year. Tanner Jeannot has 7 of those 26 fights.
That's not surprising at all.
8 now. Let's call it 8. That's not counting tonight. 8. So he has 8 fights now.
That's true. He has basically a game and 11 minutes worth of penalty minutes this season.
That's pretty. I didn't see that.
He spent a whole game and 11 minutes in the penalty box. So
wow.
That's pretty strong.
That's pretty strong right there. The thing about Jeannot is he's a tone setter. And you know what I'm really starting to really see here, and you're going to see this more and more as the season rolls on. Tanner Jeannot's got a target on his back from other teams. Sure does. They know who he is. He's starting to build that reputation.
Yep.
I'm telling you right now, other teams, they know about Tanner Jeannot.
Absolutely. They do. Like he does one, like the fight tonight, he hit somebody in the back and knocked him down, and the guy
they came right after him. They came right after him.
Yep.
It's gonna happen.
Yep.
All right. Give me another fighter on this team that really stands out to you.
I'm gonna go with our Mark Boroviewski. So
he's old school. I feel like he's the old school elder statesman.
He is, absolutely. So he has spent a game and 20 minutes. A game and 20 minutes in the penalty box this season. He leads the team in penalty minutes. what is about him is he is so fast. When he starts punching, he's just like his right, and he can use his right hand and his left hand just as well. I've seen our Catfish account for Instagram. We follow him, and he puts some videos on there every once in a while of him like practicing kickboxing and stuff at home. Yeah. Don't want to tangle with that fella, man. I'm telling you.
I think that Mark Boroviewski, he comes off as a really old school, like, he's not as big of a haymaker type of throw, like throwing haymakers like Tanner Jeannot does.
Yeah.
I feel like he's smarter in his fights. Not to say that Tanner Jeannot is not smart, but you get what I'm trying to say, right, Rich? Like
he wants to get in there and get it done.
He's more calculated in his fights.
Yeah. He wants to get in there and get it done quicker.
So Rich, he actually leads the league in penalty minutes. He doesn't just lead the team in penalty. He's got 81. He's got 81 penalty minutes. Tanner Jeannot is third in the league with 71 penalty minutes.
Wow. That's
Lindsay
crazy.
Puts out a good question here. Okay, real question. Does Jeannot have a chance in a fight with Lucic of the Calgary Flames?
You know
who we're talking about, right?
I do.
That's a big dude.
Yeah.
That might be.
I don't know. There's
that's a size disadvantage for Jeannot.
Yeah, there's some guys you see like Ryan Reeves. Those dudes are monsters. I mean, they're just like even like what's his face? Zdeno Chara. Mm-hmm. Just big men who will fight you, at the drop of a hat. Yeah, I don't know. Jeannot might
I've got a really funny story. I can't believe I've never shared this with Lindsay watching, since she's a Flames fan. But this is way before we started doing the podcast. But like 3 or 4 years ago, pre-COVID, way before COVID happened and all that. But I was working downtown at a brewery, and I come into work one afternoon at like 4:00 in the afternoon. The whole place is empty. And there's this one table that's just full of these huge, massive guys, like just massive guys. And I didn't really think too much of it, but it did kind of stick out because the restaurant was empty and it was a really weird time. But these guys are pounding beers. Like they're just pounding beers. It's like 8 of them. Turns out it was the Calgary Flames.
Oh, wow.
They were playing the Preds the following day, and it was their off day. And they were pounding these beers. Lindsay, I want you to comment on this. It's a really funny story. Johnny Gaudreau was not there. Johnny Hockey was not there. He was the one I was looking for. Right. But Lucic was there. I'm trying to remember what other Flames players were there. But Lucic was there. And this dude was like a giant.
Yeah.
Just built like a brick house.
Mm-hmm.
And they were cool. They were cool guys. So I walk over to the table wearing my Preds hat. And I actually talked a little hockey with them, and they were really cool guys. They were really, really cool guys. They even commented that they thought the Preds were a really good team, and they were looking forward to the game.
Oh, wow.
And awesome. Yeah, it was really fun. And then I asked him about Corsi. I was like, what do you guys think about the Corsi stat?
No.
And I really wish I knew what player said this. But one of the guys goes, it's bullshit.
That's awesome.
And they all started laughing. They were like, Corsi is straight bullshit.
That's funny.
I'm like, interesting.
Too funny.
I didn't have a podcast at the time. Otherwise, I would have dropped them a Catfish on Ice business card. But
been all over that. That's
but
funny.
I've always kind of liked the Flames ever since then. Not just because we have Lindsay on the podcast now, but I've actually always kind of liked the Flames because they were really cool, down-to-earth guys. They really were.
Yeah. Well, they're from Canada. Most people from Canada.
They were cool guys. They were putting down some beers, though. They were enjoying their off day. I will be dead serious on that. It was not a game day. It was obviously not a game day.
But a game the next day.
The game the next day. But, hey, they were enjoying themselves in Nashville for a day, I'll tell you.
That's cool. That's cool, though. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What a good story.
Yeah. I didn't ask for an autograph. I wasn't that guy.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that either.
That would have been weird. All right, so let me throw in our next fighter on the Preds, who just like our top fighters. Yakov Trenin. We cannot leave out Yakov Trenin.
You can't leave him off. But not fight related, but only 29 penalty minutes so far, which seems low
that's
for
kind
him.
of a little surprise for him. That's low, but you can't forget that. I can't even remember what game it was now, but the picture that really circulated the internet with him a bloody nose.
Oh yeah.
What team was that against?
Oh, I don't remember.
I mean, he just had blood streaming down his face after a fight.
Was it when he? Oh, it was when he fought Zdeno Chara, wasn't it?
Was that? I didn't know if that was the same occasion or not.
I thought that was that one. No, it was this season for when they played the Islanders.
He went round two. He went round two with Chara this year.
Yeah, I thought it was that one.
A lot of people seem to think in the like the judges, the fans, they seem to think that Chara won that round.
Maybe. I don't know. I think that is the one where he was bloodied though.
But you got to give Trenin credit for not backing down to Zdeno Chara. I mean, come on now.
No, I don't think he's going to back down to anybody.
But he fought Chara on December 9th against the Flyers.
Yeah,
or against not the Flyers, against the Islanders.
Islanders.
According to hockeyfights.com, he's only got 3 fights this season.
That seems low to me. I don't know.
But Trenin did get completely owned in a fight on January 8th against Andrew Ladd of the Arizona Coyotes. I got to be totally honest. He kind of got destroyed in that fight there.
Yeah, I remember
Andrew
that.
Ladd got the best of him in that fight.
Yep.
But Yakov Trenin is still a bulldog, and you don't want to mess with him.
Yes.
And what do you know? Yakov Trenin can also score goals. Like, we have these fighters who can also score goals. Tanner Jeannot, he can score goals. Yakov Trenin can score goals. Mark Boroviewski, not so much. But
no.
When you have a player who can fight and throw the fist, but he can also score goals, that's bonus. That's like a combination that you don't always get, that you don't usually get.
That's a bonus, that's for sure.
Do you have another fighter on the scene? We got plenty to choose from here.
Yeah. So Michael McCarron is.
That's who I was going to say next.
Yeah, he is one of those dudes who he's a big dude and he lets everybody know it, and he will drop gloves at the drop of a hat. It does not take much for him to fight anybody. So
he definitely doesn't have to worry about having a size disadvantage in most of his fights.
Absolutely. Yeah.
When I went to Preds practice before the season started.
Oh yeah.
I could not get over how tall he is. Like, he almost looks like a basketball player out there. I mean, he's a giant. And he's kind of, I'm not saying he's skinny, but he's very, for his size and his height, he's kind of lanky.
Oh yeah, he is. Yeah, I agree with that. He's 6'6".
That's so tall for a hockey player. I mean, that's like,
it is. I think
he could have had. I don't know if he has. I'd be very interested to see if he has any basketball knowledge or talent.
He might.
Well, you get a lot of goaltenders who are tall, but it's to be a skater. Mm-hmm. That's like top end right there, 6'6". You don't get much taller than that.
And his height was on display in the last game when he had a breakaway, and it was so slow.
It looked like you were watching it in slow motion. It was like quicksand.
And then like the broadcast, those guys were like, can skate really fast for his size. And I'm like, no, not really. It wasn't
I think Michael McCarron is the last player you want to see on a breakaway.
He gave the goaltender plenty of time to get prepared.
To his defense, though, he did get a pretty decent shot on him.
He did, and that's true.
He just wasn't going to sneak up on anybody. Like, he was moving pretty slow. But credit to him to even get in that situation.
Yeah.
But when it comes to his fighting, the dude is not. He gets in plenty of scrums. He gets in plenty of scraps.
Mm-hmm.
He's another one of your. He's more of your prototypical enforcer, in my opinion.
He's a hothead. That's for sure.
He's more of your enforcer.
Lindsay said that it was the fight with Chara this season that when Trenton got all bloodied. So
all right. Thank you, Lindsay, for getting us caught up on that.
Yep. Very cool.
Interesting. The only so I've got one more here.
Oh, okay.
And we've already talked about this player in our player grades. I already gave him an A-. Luke Cunnin.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't drop the gloves nearly as much as like Tanner Janot and all them. But usually when there is a scrum and when there's a pile up, I'm telling you, Luke Cunnin, that dude has some. I'm not saying he has anger problems, but the dude is definitely not shy about showing some emotion. And I mean, I've seen this guy breathe fire out there.
Yeah. And
in scrums.
Yeah. And that's one of my favorite things that happens this season is if you linger in front of the net for what they deem too long, you're going to get handled. And that's awesome. That's absolutely how it should be.
Jets get on the board here again. They've got their second goal of the game. They cut the lead to 4-2.
Wow. 30 seconds.
I gotta be honest here. I gotta kind of put that on Saros there. He left that rebound out there. He made the initial save, but he was a little out of position there. I'm just gonna Carrier was also a little out of position. But Saros leaked out the rebound a little bit too far, didn't smother the puck or make a clean save, and it's basically a slam dunk rebound goal for the Jets.
Oh, try a little wrap around there. All right, 4-2.
This game is nowhere close to being over or sealed away for the Preds at all.
No,
I mean we're still very much in a close game here.
Yep. Definitely. Need to ramp it up, boys.
All right, let's get to our last segment of the night, and that is our Thursday night edition of Battle for the Central, our power rankings. We already put them out there on social media.
Yep.
But now we're going to talk about them. We're going to give our reasoning.
Let's do it.
Coyotes, no breaking news. They're still number 8. Although they're showing a little bit of life lately, but they're still in 8th place.
Yep. They're Coyotes, on a 2-game win streak.
Well, good for them. Good for them. They won last night. They beat the Devils. And you would think the world is ending right now if you look at Devils social media.
Hey, man.
Our buddy Neil, who's on the Hockey Podcast Network, does the what's the name of his podcast?
Oh gosh.
Devil's State of Mind podcast.
Yep, that's it.
A really awesome podcast, by the way. He is a very talented podcast host. He does a lot of watch-alongs on the Hockey Podcast Network YouTube channel. But you would think that the world's ending right now. It's the apocalypse for the New Jersey Devils after losing to the Coyotes.
Yeah,
but
well, they also took Colorado and lost in OT. They had a back-to-back with Colorado, but then the next night Colorado beat them 5-0. So
I mean they're showing some fight. They really are. Yeah. They're still very firmly in 8th place. They have a lot of ground to make up before we can move them into number 7.
Definitely.
Meanwhile, you got the Blackhawks who are actually starting to catch up to the Stars in the standings. If you look at the standings,
I wouldn't have thought
they're not that far behind.
Yeah.
But I think we both still have the Blackhawks at number 7, right, Rich?
Yeah. Yeah. They were on a 4-game win streak and they had a shutout against Anaheim, but they got beat by the Kraken the other night. So that put it into their streak.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
All right. So
absolutely.
8 and 7's been set for a while in our power rankings, Coyotes and Blackhawks. Number 6. Number 6, did we both agree on the Dallas Stars?
Yes. Yep. They lost.
the Stars barely won against the Sabres tonight. They had to fight till the end. They were losing.
Oh, wow.
They were losing by a couple goals in that game.
Yeah.
And they had to really go on, put their rally caps on.
Yeah.
But they did end up beating the Sabres 5-4 tonight.
So they felt the wrath of the mighty Montreal Canadiens and lost to them. And then Florida beat them 7-1. And then
you got to dock.
You
got to dock a lot of points from the Stars by losing to the Canadiens.
Yep.
The Canadiens are the worst. The Canadiens are the new worst team in the league. They're actually worse than the Coyotes.
I saw that. Yeah.
But we also can't talk too much because I seem to remember that the Preds lost to the Canadiens earlier in the season.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just saying. Just trying to be honest.
Talk about that. We don't want to talk about that. All right. So number 5, who do you have?
We disagreed on number 5, so we had to come to a consensus. Who was your number 5?
Winnipeg.
I'm trying to remember. We both had Winnipeg number 5. Our top 4 was different. Was different. Yeah.
Yeah. 3 and 4 were different.
That's what it was.
Yep. So Winnipeg, they beat Vegas, and then they lost to Colorado. I mean, a lot of people lose to Colorado, and then they actually had a shutout against Detroit, so that was good. So, for a team that was first in the division for a while and then sank back down, maybe they're
Winnipeg is the biggest riddle of the division for me. Like, I really can't figure them out. I know that they have plenty of talent. Kyle Connor is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like they could still be a really, really dangerous team if they sneak into the playoffs. But I mean, they've had a lot of COVID disruptions, more so than other teams, I should say.
Yeah, they've already beat very much.
Yeah, and so that's why this game tonight was really important for the Preds, because it's like, look, I mean, the Jets have 6 games in hand on the Preds, and so they're going to make up those games and eventually make up all this ground that they've lost in the division. So you need this win tonight if you're the Preds. It's a very important game to stop the bleeding. But we both have the Jets at number 5. They're a fringe playoff team right now. Is kind of where we have them. Here's where me and Rich disagreed.
Mm-hmm.
I dropped the Preds all the way back to number 4.
I saw that.
After having the Preds at number 1 last week, I foolishly got too excited about the Preds. I jinxed them. I put them at number 1 after they beat the Colorado Avalanche.
I did too.
And wow.
Yeah.
They responded with a 4-game losing streak.
They did.
So I really docked the Preds and moved them back to number 4.
Yeah, I left Minnesota at 4. I don't know. They're sitting in 4th in the division. They only played 2 games last week, so it's kind of like there wasn't much to go off of. But so in those 2 games, they beat Vegas and lost to Colorado, which or no, I'm on the wrong line. I'm sorry.
Minnesota
they had a big win against Anaheim and then a shootout loss to Colorado.
Well, Minnesota is another team that's really had a lot of disruptions lately. They've had a lot of games postponed.
Yeah.
So they're just another team that's really hard to figure out right now. Yeah. But this top 4, like we've said all year, is really hard to rank.
Yeah. So,
I put Minnesota at number 3, though. I feel like they're slightly better than the Preds. And I really try to look at it in terms of if they played each other in a 7-game series.
That's true.
And if the Preds and the Wild played in a 7-game series, I feel like it would go 7 games. I feel like it'd be a really, really good series. But maybe the Preds would lose in 7 to a team like the Wild.
They might. They could. I kind of left them up at 3, but like it's really close. Like I actually wrestled with if it was going to be 3 or 4, but they still have a 4-point cushion. They're playing good tonight, so we'll see what happens after this week.
All right, and then I think our top 2 is still pretty dead set. You got to put the Blues at number 2 after they came out and beat the Preds on Monday.
Yep. They I was looking at their schedule. So they beat Seattle and then they beat Nashville, but then they lost to Toronto. But I mean, that doesn't count in the division. Well, it gives them points, but
that truly was a playoff atmosphere game.
Yeah, it was. It was
the Preds Blues on Monday had all the makings of being a postseason game.
Yep.
And credit to the Blues, they were down 2-0. The Preds punched them in the mouth, and they didn't back down. And they came back and won that game rather comfortably.
Yeah,
we did a live watch along for that game in our last episode. So go back and listen to it. But we were all excited. Me and Rich and Kyle, we were all kind of feeling good about ourselves. And, I mean, it just changed quick.
So this might be the coolest YouTube handle I've ever seen. Macaroni Tony. That's awesome. Need Jets to cover that. Plus 2.5. Yeah. That's awesome.
They're covering right now.
Thanks for joining us. Yeah.
They're covering. All right. So we want you to win, Macaroni Tony.
Yeah.
We want you to win. Let's just keep the score at 4-2. How about that?
Yeah.
We'll compromise with you.
Yeah.
Preds won't score any more goals. Jets won't score any more goals. Preds can end their losing streak at 4 games, and you could still win your bet.
There you go.
I would have taken that bet and ran with it. Jets plus 2.5. I don't blame you for taking that one. That would have been a really good. That was a really good bet to make. Macaroni Tony, you need to use our promo code THPN if you're not on DraftKings yet. By the way, we got some good deals for you.
Yep.
Thanks for joining in. Thanks for commenting. We appreciate it, man.
Absolutely. He says 4-4 in overtime.
No
overtime. We want to end.
No overtime,
right now. Definitely. Lindsay had a good question. Wanted to know what our thoughts were on the Preds schedule, the update where they scheduled all those games. There's a stretch there where they're playing a game every other day. So
we knew it was coming.
That'll be tough. I can't remember who it was against, like who all the teams were. I didn't look at it real good, but
I'll pull it up real quick.
I did see that section where it was.
Here we go. So you've got February 9th. It'll be Preds at the Stars.
Yep.
February 12th, Preds will be at home against the Jets. February 15th, it'll be Preds against the Capitals. These are rescheduled games. I'm just going through this list. And then, hey, we get to see the Carolina Hurricanes again, unfortunately.
Don't like that.
We'll play on the road at Carolina on February 18th. At Florida. Oh, my God. That is really murderer's row there. Look at this schedule.
Yeah. Capitals,
Hurricanes. And then we get a little bit of a break against Ottawa.
Yeah.
On April the 7th. And then April 19th, it'll be the Preds and the Flames. Preds will be at home to play the Flames, to play Lindsay's Flames.
There you go.
So all of your Preds games are rescheduled, 7 games in total.
Yep.
Most of them in February.
So just looking at the schedule, that little section I was talking about, they're not rescheduled, but in March, they have Dallas, day off, Anaheim, then a day off, Blues, Minnesota, that's a back-to-back, then a day off, then Pittsburgh, day off, Philadelphia, day off, then Toronto.
Ooh.
Then a day off, then a back-to-back, Anaheim and Los Angeles, day off, then Vegas.
You're going to have to see a lot of David Riddick in that stretch. I'm sorry.
March is going to be insane.
This is what we've been saying, though. We've been trying to say we have been trying to say that UC Saros needs to start getting more rest to prepare for this long haul, this long stretch.
Absolutely.
We need to start seeing David Riddick more, even if it's not a back-to-back. I think we all are in agreement there.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that was part of the problem for this losing streak, truthfully. But Yeah, I think they just rode Saros too much. And
by the way, we do apologize to anyone who tried to watch the Twitter stream. If you're downloading the podcast the next day, Twitter had some technical difficulties right when we were going on live. And our live stream, which is normally on Twitter as well, did not show up, unfortunately. We're still on YouTube channel tonight live, the stream. But if you're listening to the podcast the next day and you didn't get a chance to watch the stream because you usually watch through our Twitter handle, Twitter seemed to be having some technical difficulties.
Right when the game started.
Yep. Yeah, perfect. Horrible timing, but
Yep.
It happens.
It does happen.
All right, so we're getting close to the 10-minute mark in regulation. Don't they always say that the most dangerous lead in hockey is a 2-goal lead?
It is. Yep, it sure is.
And once again, you're starting to see that the Preds are really having a hard time getting shots on goal. They've only got 21 shots.
Yep.
You saw the same thing against Buffalo. You saw the same thing against the Bruins. The Preds are just having a hard time putting a lot of shots on goal.
Ooh. Boroviewski just got flattened. Just saw Matt Tennyson on the screen, his first game.
Oh yeah, we didn't really give him any love. He is getting his NHL opportunity tonight.
Yep. They didn't put Harper in. They called
and
it,
also,
called
I think there are some upset Preds fans that Jeremy Davies got pulled out quickly. So Jeremy Davies made his return to the NHL. He played a little bit last year, but mainly Jeremy Davies has been in the Admirals, and everyone's been waiting, thinking that he's the next defenseman prospect in line to make the transition to the NHL. He played on Tuesday against the Canucks. And I got to be honest, and this isn't to be too hard on him, but Davies looked he wasn't on the same page with his line mates. I mean,
I noticed that.
He took an early penalty. He looked a little off, just wasn't on the same page, which is to be expected for a young player like him.
Yeah. But with the situation they're in, they can't take too many chances like that. So they need to make sure that they're covered so that they don't, like tonight, they're playing good, but they're still not like dominating. So can't take a chance when you're needing to get a win after 4 games losing.
Matt Tennyson has an assist tonight. He was he played a role in the goal that Luke Cunnin scored. He kind of put the shot in there where Cunnin was screening the goaltender.
Yeah,
he was the one. He kind of pulled a trick out of Matthias Ekholm's book.
Yeah,
because that's what Matthias Ekholm likes to do. Ekholm loves to just feed the puck into traffic and hope for a pinball style goal. That's kind of how Matt Tennyson got his assist tonight.
Yeah. Good for him, though.
Yeah, good for him. I mean, I don't know if he's ever going to be a regular on this team. But, I mean, he's got 165 career games. He's 31 years old. He's not a young spring chicken anymore.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. He played his first season all the way back in 2012.
Wow.
Pretty surprising,
I didn't realize that. That is surprising. Wow. Huh. Did not know that.
But this is his first game of the season, so.
Yep. Maybe he'll hang around for a little bit till Fabro. So they update.
Tennyson played 21 games for New Jersey last year. Played another 20 games for New Jersey the season before. And then he played 2 seasons with Buffalo and only appeared in 19 games over 2 seasons.
Oh, wow.
Played 45 games for Carolina and then had 3 seasons with San Jose before that. So he's really bounced all over the place.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe I know they're just trying to get somebody in there who can be consistent until Fabro gets back. So he's out. He's still listed as like week to week. So they need to get him healthy and back in the lineup for sure.
Mm-hmm. Tennyson is a former undrafted player.
Wow.
Never got drafted. Undrafted free agent, played junior hockey in North American Hockey League and the USHL. And then he went to college to get to the NHL, playing for Western Michigan. So Tennyson is one of those players that really has had to bust his butt to get in the NHL and stick around in the NHL. So you love to see players like that who just keep working hard. They keep figuring out ways. Definitely what you would call a journeyman type of player.
Yes, definitely. That's
so good for him. Good for him. Really happy to see him get an assist tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Good for him.
Yep.
Let's see if he can maybe get a few more games for the Preds. It'd be interesting.
Yeah. I mean, obviously they weren't happy with Jeremy Davies, I suppose.
I mean, Jeremy Davies, you would think Jeremy Davies is still the future as far as eventually the Preds have to hope that he's going to be a more full-time player. Whereas Tennyson, I mean, he's 31 years old. You know, he's probably past his prime.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Unfortunately. Let's give some love here. There's talking about it on the broadcast here. Terry Crisp got Sportscaster of the Year.
Yep. That's
good
awesome.
for him. I love Terry Crisp. I mean, he deserves every award he wins.
He does, absolutely. I have a picture with him and Pete Weber. We met. We were waiting to get in one of the games we went to, and they were out front taking pictures. So that was pretty cool.
I can tell you right now that many hockey fans who live here in Middle Tennessee and live in the South, they have learned a lot about the sport of hockey thanks to Terry Crisp. Because Terry Crisp breaks it down for the average person to understand.
Yep.
Because for the average person who didn't grow up watching hockey, for the average person who didn't grow up playing hockey, it can be a very difficult sport to understand and learn.
Yes, absolutely it is.
And Terry Crisp makes it kind of easy, not easy, but he makes it more digestible for a new fan.
Yeah. He explains it really well, like you said.
He does. And
without getting into the
he's a wealth of knowledge.
Too much.
Wealth of knowledge. A former player, former coach, won a Stanley Cup. He's been with the Preds broadcast since the early days.
Yeah.
I mean, just love the guy. And isn't this his last season on the broadcast?
It is.
That's going to be tough to see him go.
Yeah, it will be. He's definitely one of my favorite people on the broadcast.
We should really try to, in the off season, get him on the podcast. I guarantee he would do it.
Oh my gosh, that would be amazing.
We're gonna work on that, everybody.
Talk to him. Oh man,
we're not gonna ask him right now because I'm sure he's really busy. I'm sure he's always busy.
Yeah,
but maybe in his retirement, he will have some time to maybe join a couple podcasts, and
that would be amazing.
That would make my year if he came on the podcast.
Oh my gosh, that would be. I can't even explain it. It would be so awesome.
I'd probably be stuttering the whole time because I'd be so nervous.
I know. And just to talk to somebody who's won a Stanley Cup. I mean,
we've had some really, really outstanding guests on the podcast in the past where I was also nervous.
Thinking about that the other day. Yeah. Yeah. Very nice of those people to take their time and talk to us.
So anyone who's listening to the podcast for the first time, go back and listen to the archive, whether you're on Spotify, whether you're on Apple, any of your podcast platforms. Yep. Go listen to the archive. We've had some really awesome guests in the past that we've been very, very fortunate enough to have.
Definitely. Very appreciative.
We're down to 6 minutes left in regulation. The Preds have figured out a way to keep this at a 2-goal lead. The Jets are up to 35 shots on goal. How many times UC Saros going to have to? I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
I will not be surprised at all if the Jets end up forcing another 40 saves from UC Saros.
That's what I was getting ready to say. I mean, just
that number of 40 saves is starting to become a regular number for UC Saros in pretty much every game he plays in.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you look at the goals that he was scored last night, the Carrier one really wasn't his fault, I don't think, but the other one kind of was. So that's really good to face a 40 goal night.
He's human. He's going to, every now and then he's going to have a couple goals where it's like,
yeah,
you would love for him to have that one back, but he's still piling up the saves. I mean, every game he is putting up 30 to 40 saves consistently.
Yep.
Tomasino nearly scored the 5th goal of the night for the Preds. He came really close. He was crashing the net. Hellebuck was in really good position.
Yeah.
But
it's good to see Saros make a comeback, looking better tonight. That's for sure. I was getting a little nervous, a little worried, a little bit about, are they for real? Is he going to be able to keep up this pace? But he looks great tonight. That's for sure. So
while we're waiting for this game to round out, let's go ahead and talk. Rich, I got to ask you, how upset were you to see that Roman Josi did not get voted as the last man in the All-Star voting?
It's ridiculous. It makes absolutely no sense. If you look at his stats and where he is in relation to other players who got in, it's ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense.
Let me preface this by saying that Kadri for the Avalanche is also deserving.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
He's the one that got the last man in vote.
Yep.
I wrote an article about this, talking about it.
Yep.
It's not about the fact that some of these players didn't deserve to get in. It's about the fact that the voting format makes no sense.
Right.
Like, we're going to pick one player from each division. If you have that type of voting format, then you're always going to leave out players who are deserving.
Yeah.
How can you have the league's top defenseman in terms of points not in the All-Star game?
Absolutely. It makes no sense.
And the Central Division team is only going to have one defenseman on their team, and that'll be Cal McCarr. Like, it makes no sense. If anything, each division team should have a certain amount of players from each position. So I agree, 100%. We're going to vote 2 defensemen in. We're going to vote 2 wingers in. We'll vote 2 centers in. It shouldn't be this, like Clayton Keller for the Arizona Coyotes. No offense to Clayton Keller. He's a nice young player. He should not be in over Roman Josi.
No, absolutely not. And I know it's like, are you seeing the fight, the scrum
I
going on?
am seeing it. Carrier, man. Carrier's not been ever known as a fighter, but he's been getting in scrums lately too.
That dude must have got under his skin. So now Yossi's talking to him. That's cool.
Yossi's being the captain.
I can't remember who said it, but one of the players, it might have been Draisaitl, was like, it's the All-Star game. It's not the participation game.
No, that was McKinnon.
McKinnon, that's right.
Because Nathan McKinnon was really upset about Kadri not getting in.
Yeah.
And
he
called
right.
it silly.
Yeah,
he called it silly.
Yeah.
So that was Kyle Connor who skated in and knocked the snow up onto the ice. Up onto Saros, and you don't do that. Whenever you knock ice up into the goaltender, it's a very disrespectful thing to do to a goaltender when you kick up that ice onto a goaltender. The ref's actually talking to Saros right now. He's kind of laughing it off, but it's a very disrespectful thing to do to a goaltender.
Oh, it absolutely is.
And that's why you saw that retaliation from Carrier. So good for Carrier for sticking up for Saros. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that's what Josi was probably saying to Connor was, come on, man, don't do that. Like, you're better than that. You're like one of the top scoring players in the league.
Yeah.
You're better than that. Don't be disrespectful.
Lindsay said it's so annoying, the fact that Josi and Kadri both deserve to be there without the last man in. Yeah, that's true. She's absolutely correct. It is very annoying.
And there were plenty of players out there who got snubbed, just like Yossi.
Yeah, I get it that they want representation from all the teams in the league, but like,
and then of course, these players who didn't get an all-star advantage or selection, they can still go and participate in the skills competition.
Yes. Yeah.
So maybe you'll see Yossi in a skills competition, I guess. We'll see. If I was him, I would turn it down.
Oh, yeah. Just stay home.
In a season like this, why would you risk getting injured? Why would you risk, I don't know, catching a COVID or whatever? I don't know. Why would you even?
Was Mika Zibanejad, was he one of the ones that was an all-star? Did he make it in?
For the Rangers?
Yeah.
He was in the last man in vote.
Oh, okay. Because I heard a player today, but I just kind of heard it in passing that one of them is not going to go for personal reasons. But
that was him. That was him.
Was it him? Okay.
Yep. I think I'm trying to remember who took over for him.
Well, the last time they had an all-star game, Alex Ovechkin was voted in and he didn't go. So I get it. You don't want to take the chance, or you might have a personal reason why you don't want to go. So it's understandable.
I just think they got to change the voting format. They got to go. I'd really like them to go back to the old format when it was. They used to go. This might be before you, Rich, before you started watching hockey, but they used to do Team World versus Team USA or Team North America.
Oh, that's cool.
So it was Canadian USA players versus
cool.
Teams from international countries.
That's interesting.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So it wasn't by conference. It was literally by nationality.
Oh,
so it gave you an Olympics feel to it.
That's very cool.
And it gave you a little bit more to play for because you're representing either your continent, I guess you could say. But I used to love that part of it. They need to go back to that, if you ask me.
That would be cool. I like watching all of it anyway.
So you could actually end up seeing teammates play against each other in the All-Star game.
Yeah.
Oh, that was cool. What was really – that was kind of when I first was starting to watch hockey. And I remember those All-Star games were a lot of fun when it was that format.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if you went with that format, you would never have this problem. Like Roman Yossi would be on Team World. It would be no question about it.
Absolutely. That's true.
So I don't know.
I like all the fun, like the skills competitions that they do. I think those are really cool.
Hardest slap shot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of them they like to do.
They do the race around the rink. That's pretty neat. What's the other one? They do the one where you have to shoot. They have targets set up in the net and you have to hit them.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. I like that too.
Roman Yossi would be a good one for that.
Yeah,
if he gets in the skills, I'm sure they'll offer him to be in the skills competition.
Yeah.
Ooh, the Jets nearly got one. Saros made the save. He kind of directed it off into the corner. It barely went past the post. So we're just under 3 minutes left, and the Jets have already emptied their net.
Trying to get that.
Get that one. They're down 4-2. I believe Saros just made his 36th save of the night. So he's got 36 saves on 38 shots. The Preds only have 22 shots, but they do have 4 goals.
We need an empty netter. I want to see an empty netter. We don't see those very much.
We haven't seen many empty netters for the Preds this year, have we?
No. For some reason, I don't understand why, but they just can't ever seem to.
Preds only have 22 shots on goal. They did have 32 shots against Vancouver, but they've had a lot of games recently where they're just not getting a lot of shots.
Yeah, especially like they haven't gotten very many since the middle of the second period, I think, is when
they put up 35. They put up 35 shots on St. Louis. Yeah. They only put up 29 against Boston. And that Buffalo game was just a disaster all the way around.
We don't even like talking about that. Oh, man. Saros saved one. Oh, man, that's so close.
You got to watch out for Kyle Connor. He is he's an assassin.
Oh, timeout.
That puck was bouncing.
Is that the one that went right by the?
Yeah,
post?
that was bouncing.
Yeah,
we've actually had two situations like that recently that have happened in this game. The Jets got to be frustrated. Like they've got to be frustrated. They have.
Really are.
I don't think the Jets have particularly played a bad game tonight.
No, but they ran up against the hot UC Saros.
Exactly. Hey, don't jinx it yet, Rich.
I know.
Rich, you said that way too soon.
I know, right?
There is still 1 minute and 46 seconds left in this game.
I don't want to get labeled like
you heard it here first, folks. You heard it here first. If the Preds lose this game, we only have Rich to blame.
Yep. I don't want to get labeled like that. I've seen that happen in Nashville media before. Somebody jinxing a team.
Yeah, you'll never be on that man's level, and we will go ahead. That person will go nameless tonight. Pretty much everyone knows what we're talking about. You are not on his level. Rich, you are not on his level, and you never will be.
Yeah. No names.
Other NHL scores tonight as we wait for this game to wrap up here. Empty net. They threw it down. Couldn't get it. All right. The matchup that was really interesting to me tonight was the Panthers-Oilers game.
Oh, yeah.
Because, the Oilers are the subject of a lot of ridicule right now. They are totally underperforming. And they are at the second intermission. They're losing 2-0 to the Panthers right now.
So I was looking at the schedule for them. I'm pretty sure they've lost like 7 or 8 games in a row.
And then, of course, you've got reporters calling the best player in the world pissy.
Yeah,
or arguably the best. There are people out there who say that Draisaitl is actually better than McDavid, but
yeah,
you're kind of splitting hairs at that point. But Avs are up 2-0 on the Kings. Shocker there. Avs just pretty much beat everybody now except for the Preds. Golden Knights and Canadians are tied at 1.
There is a big old huge fight going on right now. Holy crap.
I'm telling you, the Preds are not going to put up with these Jets players skating up on Saros like that. They're not going to put up with it. Oh, my God. The refs are in the middle of that.
They sure were.
Now Johansen is really talking to Connor here.
Yep.
I think a lot of these Preds players are getting upset with Kyle Connor.
So I think I'm trying to see what happened. So
let's see what happened here. Let's see what got everybody all upset here.
No, they're not going to show it. Benning's got his helmet off. He's all, wow. All right. That's interesting. I wanted to see what started all that.
Well, they're getting all on top of Saros after the whistle. And I think it's really starting to.
Is that what it was?
I just feel like that's what it seems like is.
Yeah. Oh, man.
But a lot of the anger seems to be directed at Kyle Connor.
Yeah. Rightfully so. Come on, boys. Oh, there it is.
I don't like you being ahead of me, Rich.
You're going to like it. Oh, look who's here. Look who joined us all of a sudden.
He shows up for the empty netter.
Hey, guess what, Mike Twitter? I am ahead tonight. I saw that before anybody, I think.
Tanner Jeannot with the slam dunk empty netter.
Love it. Hey, man.
I'm all for Tanner Jeannot piling up some empty net goals to really boost his numbers. I'm all for it. Hey, that was a nifty little pass there.
It was.
Who was that off the boards who made that pass? I couldn't see at first.
I didn't see it was.
Is that Sissons? Oh, yeah, that was Sissons. That was nifty.
Awesome. Very cool. Mike Twitter. I like it. Nice. Yes, it was cool. I couldn't believe it that I was like ahead of Chad tonight watching the game.
Give a 10 out of 10 for that pass, that backhand pass from Sissons.
All right.
Nicely done. The Preds are going to win this thing 5-2, even though they were outshot 38-23.
There you go.
This is not, I mean, they score. Wow. Whoa. Did they get a buzzer beater goal?
It looked like it did, but I don't know. They're not counting it. I thought it went in.
That was close.
Yes. Hey, man.
All right.
They came out and did what they needed to do.
Score. They score 4 goals on Connor Hellebuck. So you're thinking going into tonight, like, Preds got 2 really good goaltenders they're going up against because they just went against Thatcher Demko.
Yep.
But Hellebuck gave up some goals tonight. He didn't look his normal sharp self.
Yep.
Great night. We are off the losing streak officially.
Yes. So let's start another win streak.
We're back to those winning ways. Tolvanen gets a goal. Jeannot gets an empty netter. Luke Cunning gets a goal.
Granlund
gets back on the goal train. Yossi puts up a few points. Just an all-around awesome night.
Yep. They did exactly what they needed to do. And they came out and played hard, and they got the good lead.
Johansen gets a 2-point night as well with a goal and an assist.
Why are they not showing?
6 hits for Luke Cunning, 5 hits for Trennan, 4 hits for Sissons.
Yeah.
5 hits for Boroviewski. So plenty of hits to go around.
They went 0 for 3 on the power play.
Yeah, the power play has cooled off a little bit lately.
It has. I know. That's what I was going to say. Yeah, awesome, man.
Mm-hmm.
Glad to see it.
So once they update the points, the Preds will be back in second place ahead of the Blues. They'll be at 53 points.
Sweet.
25, 14, and 3.
Love it. It's very cool. Yeah, it hadn't updated yet.
Who's your 3 of the game, Rick?
Well, Saros. I was trying to see. Oh, there it is. Yeah, Saros, B1. I don't know.
It's kind
of tough.
You have to figure out your 3 stars. I would say Saros for sure. I would probably go Mikhail Greenland with a star. I would give Greenland 1.
Yeah, Greenland got a goal and an assist. Johansen got a goal and an assist. Matt Benning got an assist.
Yeah.
Yossi got 2 assists.
I would say probably Yossi, Greenland, and Saros would be my 3 stars.
Yep. I'm good with that. Definitely
awesome. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching
the
Preds versus the Jets with us for episode 98. It's been a lot of fun talking about the best fighters on the team, ranking the Central Division, battle for the Central, and we started off our midseason player grades. This has been episode 98, Catfish on Ice, with Chad Minton and Rich Howe, brought to you by DraftKings. This time next week, we are doing our listener appreciation episode, getting closer and closer to the milestone episode 100. Thanks for joining in on the YouTube chat, everybody.
Yes,
we love you. So. We appreciate you. We can't thank you enough for supporting the podcast and talking Preds with us. We'll see you on Monday for episode 99. Everyone have an awesome weekend.
Yes. Take care.
Take care.